computer. All right. All right, let's get started. I've been this is my 19th presentation at BNI, and I've never really talked about drones. I call them flying cameras. We're literally living in Jetson world. For those of you that are familiar with the Jetsons, we have flying cameras that we can use for as toys, recreationally, professionally. We have Zoom, which is basically Jetson communications. We don't have smell-o-vision. That's the only thing we don't have, and that's probably a good thing. So just a photo I made with a drone. And I need to get everybody's pictures out of the way here. 1 second. Move. Wow, how do we do that? Okay, I made myself, put myself in the corner there where I belong. All right, so, wow, I was I was a still photographer only many years ago working in Taiwan, and I always resisted video. People ask me when I'm going to start doing videography. I said, hell no, I don't want to sit at in an editing suite all day. And the first time my eyes were open to the power of drone or remote camera operation, that sort of world was when I roomed with a drone photographer who had actually built an octocopter. This is just at the cusp of when drones became consumer friendly and you could buy one off the shelf. It's just getting there, but he had built an octocopter. That's 8 rotors, and it was huge. And I was shooting Ironman Taiwan 2015, and he was my roommate that night. And the footage is unbelievable. It still holds up today, even though we're used to drone footage and everything in a lot of different media. Go check it out, Ironman Taiwan 2015. It's like a 12-minute, 12-minute video, and his stuff is incredible. So I was pretty impressed by his setup, and then the video came out later. And back then, with his setup, he put a GoPro on basically what do they call it? Like a remote. He was in a remote control aircraft, and that's how he was able to build his drone. So it wasn't off the shelf, but that planted the seed in me, and I wanted one. I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but I wanted one of those things. And so the first opportunity I had was I was driving from New York across the country with my best friend, Mark, from who I knew in Taiwan. And my father gifted me a drone before our trip, and rest in peace, that drone ended up in the ocean in Taiwan on a visit back to Taiwan 2017, but that's another story. And Mark and I had a blast getting to know what a drone could do. And one of the examples of something we did was go to Horseshoe Bend in Arizona. And this is a drone selfie that we did there. And that place is now off limits because back then drones were just starting to fly off the shelves, and those in authority were starting to become alert to some of the issues. Like if you're having a peaceful day at the Grand Canyon and 55 drones are buzzing over your head, it's probably not that great. Plus, you can crash them. You can get a lot of yahoos with drones. And I remember driving into Monuments National Park, I had the drone just on the seat below me. Mark was driving, and the lady at the tickets kiosk said, "Is that a drone? Put that in the trunk right away." So we learned about drone restrictions in national parks. However, Horseshoe Bend hadn't come under that restriction yet, so we were able to enjoy doing this. And this is my first drone selfie. This is a droney, so it's one thing you can do with the drone is do a video that and take off away from you. It's called a droney, drone selfie. And this is all manually controlled. These days you can actually kind of automate it. And then I bring Horseshoe Bend into view. I think it's a pretty good selfie. All right, and then shortly thereafter I got married, and I asked our videographer, I taught her how to fly it in less than an hour. And I had this in mind. So this is something else you can do with a drone. And then speaking of no drone zones, national parks, I learned through experience about the restrictions by I was scouting a job. I got hired by a cycling apparel company to work in the San Francisco Bay Area. We hired some models, and I thought this would be a really cool shot up in the Marin Headlands um, with the Golden Gate Bridge a little bit. I was going to angle over to the left and take some photos of my models, but I was just doing recon before I even got. This is probably only 20 feet up in the air. A big Chevy Blazer, like park police, pulled up, and this lady cop barked at me, "Get that drone down now!" and land it now. And then she threatened a $10,000 fine. So I learned a little bit about the restrictions. And speaking of which, one of them is that you are technically not supposed to charge money for drone operations without a license. And the FAA issues those. You need to study. I studied for 2 weeks straight to get my license. It's kind of an irrelevant, stupid test, but I have a drone license. So I'm actually licensed to fly a drone. And what that means is that I can earn money flying my drone. And here's a little sequence of me. This is shooting a little video for Paul, actually. And before the seagull started attacking my drone. And so as you can see, one thing it allows me to do is wear a dorky safety vest that says commercial drone pilot on it. And the really the biggest advantage is that I can request clearances that are otherwise not available to other drone pilots, recreational drone pilots. For instance, if there's anything near Alameda or on Alameda or on the cusp of Oakland, I can request an automated clearance through an app. The app has my registration information. And as you can see, like Berkeley's just, there's a circle around Berkeley because that's like a hospital area and everything, but there's a circle around Oakland here outside the airport. And if you look in the middle photo here, this is a screen grab of my app. As you get closer to the airport, then the maximum elevation or altitude you can fly at becomes restricted, but you are eligible if you have a Part 107, that's what it's called, the license, you can request a clearance. And it used to be that you had to literally request the clearance with the tower, but now it's automated and it usually goes through. So I can be on site shooting a video for Sherry and say, oh no, I didn't request my clearance, and then take care of it in like a minute and a half. So that's really cool. So these are some of the services I personally have offered and do offer: real estate listings, photo and video. All right. Aerial photography, construction project monitoring. I've done that a bit. I haven't done any agricultural inspections, but those exist. And I don't do bridge and roof inspections very often, but I do some of those. I do some rooftop inspections, and some drones are actually equipped with thermal cameras. Those get more expensive, but it's been a really great tool for bridge inspectors to be able to find cracks and in construction weakening things. So I'm just going to do a little bit of portfolio shots here. I love to just take my drone up and get a different view of the world personally, and I sometimes print these out for sale or for my personal edification. And that's monuments. This is where this is our old stomping ground, right? The Berkeley Marina, Tiburon, the Bay Bridge. And this is an example of a job I was hired to do, a work site and monitor the progress of a Costco facility, not an outlet, but basically where they do a lot of the warehousing in Tracy. And so I went every month on the same day and showed them piles of dirt and all that sort of stuff. I have done a lot of deck work for our previous member, Christopher Stair, showing his deck work. In one shot, you can show exactly how the deck fits in with the house. It's pretty cool. And this is just the beginning of the video. I edit it. One thing I love to do is end my real estate videos with a little flyaway. And so I'm going to have a little commercial for Sherry as well, and my own little ending tag. And I thought that would be a cool way to end. So here we go. I end my real estate videos with flyaways. And my own little animated logo. And that's it. We probably don't have time for questions.
If anyone has a quick question, go right ahead.
Can I make a brief testimonial?
Perfect.
Sure.
Please do.
Okay, so I sold a house in Montclair. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say Oakland, Courtney, but I have a client who sold a house in Montclair, and the best part of his entire sale process, hands down, was meeting David and watching David do the video. And he bonded so much with David and the house and the process of selling through that video. It was amazing. And I mean, David was incredible. So if you ever need a real estate video and you have a client who you think is a little tentative about the process, David will bond with them and facilitate the process, and you'll get beautiful results.
Thank you, Sherry.
You're welcome.